Matt Turner and Chris Brady. When I added all of their salaries, I got $2.35 million a year, which is roughly €2 million per year. Now, the fullbacks, I have Serginho Dest, Anthony Robinson, Alex Freeman, that just moved to Villarreal, so I guess I'm going to have to guesstimate his salary based on the average salaries of the Villarreal players. And then you have Tim Weah from Marseille and Joe Scally from Borussia Mönchengladbach. When I added up all of their salaries, I got roughly €15 million a year. Now, the center backs, we have four of them. We have Chris Richards from Crystal Palace, Mark McKenzie from Toulouse, Tim Ream from Charlotte and MLS, and I'm going to put Noah Kai-Banks from Augsburg. When you add up all their salaries, you get €6.4 million per year. Now, the double pivot midfield, because we're going to play a 3-4-2-1, just like Pochettino, we have Tyler Adams, Johnny Cardoso, Tanner Tessman, Aiden Morris, and for the sake of this video, I'm going to put Yunus Musa ahead of Sebastian Berhalter and ahead of Roldan. So when you add up the salaries of all of these double pivot midfielders, or more of the defensive-oriented midfielders, we have roughly €13.8 billion. Now, the attacking midfielders that play behind the center forward, because remember, in the 3-4-2-1 that Pochettino plays, they're attacking midfielders, the width comes from the wingbacks. So the attacking mids are Christian Pulisic, Elaine Tillman, Gio Reyna, Brendan Aronson, and Weston McKennie. Yes, I removed Diego Luna for this video, because as I said, it's a mix of Pochettino roster and my roster. I'm also trying to inflate the salaries a little bit. Just a little bit. Actually, that's not 100% accurate, because if I was to do that, I would have put Miles Robinson. He makes more money than Noah Kai-Banks. So when I add up all the salaries of the attacking midfielders, I get $16.8 billion. The center forwards, I put Balogun, Pepe, and Haji Wright. When you add the salaries of Balogun, Pepe, and Haji Wright, you get a base annual salary of €7 million. When you add up everyone's salaries, you get roughly €61 billion being spent annually on all U.S. men's national team players, which is roughly $53 million. So hold on to those numbers. For the U.S. men's national team roster, we would be spending €61 million per season, or $53 million. Now we can go to the top 5 leagues and see where they keep ranking. But before we do that, you're going to make sure to drop a like in this video, and we're going to put a quick word from the sponsor of this video, PrizePicks. We'll be back very soon, where we will rank where the U.S. will end in all top 5 leagues. Shoot your shot to be right. Okay, so why don't we start with the English Premier League? And when we look at the ranking of the salaries of all the clubs here, you can see that Man City leads the way with £233 million spent per season. And once again, this is the base salary. I did the same with the U.S. players. And the U.S. men's national team spends roughly $53 million to our fake soccer club, the U.S. national team. That would place us in last place with Brentford. Brentford spends $53 million. So if the U.S. men's national team was placed in the Premier League, we would be dead last in terms of spending. Now, here's my take on this. Where would the U.S. men's national team finish if they were in the Premier League? I don't think
Okay.
Chris Richards is not a relegation battle player. Anthony Robinson is not. Kenny is not. Pulisic is not. Balogun is not. Weah also is not. Right? The many other players that we have, Tyler Adams. I think even Johnny Cardoso playing for Atletico Madrid, Serginho Dest, these are not relegation battle players. And I think we have enough depth off the bench, like Brendan Aronson will get back up, and he's a starter for Leeds. But I think if the U.S. was placed in the Premier League, despite our salary being dead last with Brentford, I think we would be somewhere around mid-table. We would be around 10th place to 14th, in my personal opinion. And again, like I said, it's important to look at the salary to kind of project where a team would finish, but there are teams that spend less money and do better than others that spend a lot of money. Manchester United is number 4 here, as they have been doing that well in other seasons. I think the U.S. will finish somewhere between 10th and 14th, but in terms of spending, we would be dead last. The next league we should look into here, let's look at another top 5 league. How about we do
So follow the for headers.
Let's look at this. So the U.S. men's national team is in the Bundesliga. Now we're going to be talking about Euros. And the U.S. spends €61 million. Right? When you look here at the third column, you can see the wages for all the teams here in the Bundesliga. With Bayern leading the way at 259 million euros. If we go to 60 million euros, we would reach around Stuttgart and Freiburg, as you can see on the screen. Freiburg, which that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we would be in 8th place, ahead of Freiburg, ahead of Gladbach, Hoffenheim, spending 60 million euros. Stuttgart spends actually we're at 61 points. We're tied. Stuttgart spends 61. We would be tied with Stuttgart in 7th place in terms of spending. Now you may be wondering, so would the U.S. men's national team, in your opinion, Mr. Technical Manager, would they be the 7th best team in the Bundesliga? I actually think if the U.S. played in the Bundesliga with the players that we have, we would be top 6. I think we would be fighting for that top 4. Maybe Leipzig, Dortmund, Leverkusen, but we can definitely match up well against Wolfsburg. So the U.S. men's national team on the field would probably be top 6, and we would fight for that.
Yo, Brass.
Nah.
It's my goal. That's America, though. Oh my God.
The next league we can look into here will be, let's just say we look into, how about La Liga? Let's look into La Liga. How will the U.S. men's national team do in La Liga? So here, if we look at La Liga, Real Madrid spends more than everyone else. They spend 300 million euros, which is a lot more than even Barcelona. Barcelona spends 234 right now, which is the same how much Real Madrid spends. And when you look into La Liga, the U.S. men's national team with 61 million euros spent.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tell me. Oh my God. Oh, it was offside anyways.
Real Sociedad, Real Betis, Athletic Bilbao, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. So we would be placed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
We'd be 9th place in La Liga, right here ahead of Girona. Now, if you ask me, where do you think the U.S. national team will finish in La Liga?
Listen, yeah, he's out. Rash! Rash! Yeah.
Sevilla, as you can see here, all the way to Atletico Bilbao, we could compete with any of these teams. So I would say in La Liga, anything between 4th and 9th would be fair game for the U.S. I think it would be anywhere from 4th to 9th. If we have a good season, the U.S. men's national team soccer club, we would fight for a Champions League spot, the 5th, 6th, 4th. If we have a bad season, probably around 10th, which is not bad if you think about it, right? Not bad at all. The league is a great league. We're clearly behind the top 3. Outside of that, I think our team could match up with all these other ones. You let me know in the comment section. Okay. See the Bundesliga.
Let's go.
Let's talk about the Serie A. Christian Pulisic plays, right? A league
Robo
that all of us
gotta go.
follow very closely. In the Serie A, there's 61 million euros spent.
I thought Tillman was going to be cooking, bro.
Ahead of Torino.
Tillman's not cooking.
Below Atalanta that spent 64 million euros a season. Inter Milan leads the way at 125, Juve 126, Milan at 99 million euros. And the Serie A is an interesting one because it's a league that I think is very balanced between the clubs. Like if you go from Atalanta to Juventus, the level is very close to the same.
He makes sense.
So Inter Milan, to me, they have a better team than the U.S. men's national team. It would be very tough for the West. But when you go from Juventus all the way to Atalanta, even though those are all the teams that are ahead of us, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 teams that spend more than the U.S. men's national team, even though Atalanta and Fiorentina, that's very close. I think from Atalanta to Juventus, the U.S. men's national team can beat any of those teams. Like, look at Juventus. West McKinney's one of their best players.
Like rats, even though we're losing.
Who
did he pass it to? Nah, this shit is blasphemy.
So, again, for these top teams, a lot of the top players
Sub all these players in. Sub
and then you look at other guys that had Anthony Robbins, Tyler Adams, and many others. So, from Atalanta to Juventus, the U.S. men's national team could beat any of these teams. So, to me, Inter Milan would be number 1. And then after that, the United States, depending on the season, we could finish anywhere from 2nd to 8th place in the Serie A. I think if we have a very good season, we finish in 2nd. If we have a bad season, right here, around where Torino is in terms of spending. Okay? Again, that's just me projecting, but that's kind of like where we are at 61 million euros spent. Now, the last league would be Ligue 1, a league dominated by PSG, and you all know that, of course. So, Liga is another league that Americans have been following a lot more lately. Tanner Tessman playing there, Balogun playing there, Tuwea was playing there.
I didn't expect you even try to do that.
Tuwea came back, and now he plays for Marseille. So we have Way in there, Tessman, Balogun, Mark McKenzie plays for Toulouse. And PSG leads the way with 174 million euros spent. Second, we have Marseille, Tuwea plays with 97 million. And if we look at where the spending is, 61 million,
you're just wasting fucking time.
With Nice. And honestly, Monaco spent 63. So we're kind of close to Monaco in terms of spending. So the US national team, when it comes to spending in Liga, we would be around 3rd to 4th place. Okay, Liga. And when you look at the teams that play Liga,
oh yeah, right. Holy. Why did he shoot his left? Okay, little Johnny.
Sure, we could finish behind these teams. We could. Like I said, how much you spend doesn't mean you're going to finish right at that place. It just means you spend more, and usually if you spend more, you have more talent. But in terms of spending, the U.S. men's national team would be around 3rd or 4th in Liga, and I think only PSG is better. We could match up with any team. So when it comes to Liga, the U.S. national team would 100% have to fight for the top 4 every season. We need to finish top 4 if we played in Liga. Now, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, that depends on what you do. These other teams are really good. Nice, Monaco, Marseille, Lyon, these are all good team runs. So, Monaco is a different story, but we should be able to finish top 4. We got another thoughts in the comment section.
Good interception, Johnny. Holy, why are we just launching that big?
Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like before you start getting on speed. Let us know in the comment section down below. Where will the U.S. men's national team finish in the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, and Liga?
Okay.
Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great day.
Like, I feel like we ain't doing shit. So cut it in. So fucking cut it in. Oh my god, how did I call that? Who's that guy? I'm trying to see that. It's fucking talking, bro. Fucking talking, bro. Jesus. Oh my god, Rain, I thought you were gonna go crazy. Looking real bad. Oh Lord. Oh my god. But it feels like they got more people on the fucking field.
Chelsea, under manager Ted Drake, clinched their first league title. Drake had come in with a vision that went beyond just managing players to transform the club. He rebranded Chelsea from the pensioners to the Blues, aiming to reshape Chelsea's image from a flashy club to one that commanded respect on the pitch. The Blues nickname became a lasting symbol of the club's evolving identity. Drake revamped the roster with a strong emphasis on homegrown talent, ushering in a gritty, competitive team that didn't rely on big names alone. Chelsea finished the 1954-55 season as champions of England, an achievement that had eluded them for decades, and one that finally validated their early ambitions. Fans at Stamford Bridge were ecstatic, and the win forged a connection with supporters that would last generations. It set a standard that the club would chase for years to come. The 1960s saw Chelsea capitalizing on London's cultural boom, with manager Tommy Docherty creating a youthful, energetic squad that mirrored the city's changing vibe. Docherty built Chelsea around emerging stars like Jimmy Greaves and Terry Venables, infusing the club with a sense of style that captivated fans. Chelsea wasn't just about winning. They were about being part of a cultural moment. As the 60s turned into the 70s, Chelsea hit rocky ground. Despite winning another FA Cup in 1970 and defeating Leeds United in what was remembered as one of the most brutal finals in English football history, financial challenges loomed. Over-ambitious plans to redevelop Stamford Bridge with a massive new East Stand left the club drowning in debt. Chelsea went from being one of England's top clubs to fighting for survival. By the late 70s, issues, fan hooliganism, and poor performances on the pitch had Chelsea teetering on the brink of collapse. With empty seats and dwindling revenue, the club was desperate, and in 1982, businessman Ken Bates famously bought Chelsea for £1, rescuing them from potential bankruptcy. The 70s and early 80s were a defining period for Chelsea's resilience. Survival wasn't guaranteed, but loyal fans stuck by the club, even as the club fell into a cycle of promotion and relegation between the divisions. Under Ken Bates, Chelsea began to rebuild. Though the road was far from smooth, Bates was known for his no-nonsense approach and wasn't afraid to make big changes. He focused on bringing the club back to stability, gradually lifting Chelsea from the second division and attracting a fan base that was passionate as ever. By the mid-80s,
We have to get to this point to it. If we don't, no.
Stamford Bridge once again became a venue with a lively atmosphere. The club still faced issues, particularly with fan loyalty, precipitating Chelsea fans from the late 80s. Yet, Chelsea persevered. Chelsea defeated Liverpool in the FA Cup in 1982. The victory felt like professional sport. Ken Bates laid the foundation for future success by stabilizing the finances, curbing hooliganism, and improving support. Chelsea's driven play became extended, bringing energy and excitement back to the club. As the 1990s associated creation of the Premier League in 1992, the influence of TV leagues changed. Chelsea seized the moment to lock things in, hiring Glenn Hoddle as player manager in 1990. Hoddle introduced new tactics and training methods, preparing Chelsea to compete on the bigger stage. While they didn't win major trophies in the early 90s, Chelsea had started to reinvent
Go baloney.
aiming to attract
Basket baloney. Baloney. Baloney with a banger. I don't know why he's not. He's like 6 foot. Though. But a goal.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at a couple of clips that have come up recently of the politicians here in America. Obviously, their job is to pretty much rule over and preside over society to some degree. These are the lawmakers and supposedly the doers of the government of this country, right? And this is really just more of an insight on how they actually think, where their thought process is. What is really important to these people, and it just really goes to show, honestly, that the people in control of this country are just completely fucking stupid.
Oh yeah, Captain America. Right there in the middle. Oh my God, Solo. So,
Decisions that affect all of our plans for the
Tillman. What the fuck was that? The fucking you had like a 90% chance of shooting from the right side, man.
and you can see it through like some of the clips we're
Wow,
gonna take a look
Tillman.
at here today. So they kind of
You fucking right footed, you shoot your left? Easy.
is a representative here in the United States by the name of Sarah Jacobs, and then we're going to go ahead and take a look at some clips that are definitely important today. Like I said, it's all across the board. We are not discriminating here today. We are going to take a look at what these people are just really focused on. Obviously, there are just so many different things that are going on in our country right now. So many different important priorities you would think that are on the table. So many things to address through law, things and problems that they're solved so that people can live better lives. But instead of focusing on, I guess, really anything productive, like releasing the Epstein files completely and just being transparent and actually bringing people who are involved in that to justice, instead of literally anything, right? They decide that this is the stuff that they are truly, truly prioritizing. So we'll first take a look here at, like I said, Representative Sarah Jacobs. I didn't know who she was off the top of my head. She's a super important person in all of this. She is apparently Representative Sandy, the 51st Congressional District in California, so really Sandy. And she was interviewed by TMZ here recently. She was basically just like being emotions of this week and with the big one. And let's go ahead and see what she has to say. And so,
A fucking Jew. That's
just the way she's talking, it's kind of hard to actually
oh man. We're struggling as fucking wolves. Something ain't clicking. Oh my God, Reina. Oh, he's outside. He's fucking outside aiming. That seems too good to be true. He's outside aiming. But right now. Oh, nah, he's good. Oh, hell. That dude was outside his fuck.
So, pretty important job, you would think, but it is apparently quote unquote just like a school, guys. There's not assigned seating, but like there is assigned seating, you know, like you think it's like a lot of being here, you're sitting there.
Okay, what the fuck are you doing, my guy?
It just sounds like she got it's like the teenage daughter explained on the first day of school. And like I said, this is somebody who at a lot of different points in time could probably be voting on legislation that directly affects the outcome of your life. You know, these are the people who actually have control in society. You know, they're sitting here worried more about the unofficial officials assigned seating of sitting in fucking Congress and whatnot, instead of worrying about, like I said, you know,
Oh my God, McKinney. That would have been a banger.
we should be funding this specific service, whether or not something in your district going on is important enough to bring to the floor, you know, something, right? Like figuring out literally anything productive to do with your time. You're speaking with a TMZ reporter about how Congress is like high school. there's a bunch of groups and plates based on like their own special political interests. It's probably, like which donors do we have, which lobbyists are funding which of us, you got the guys who like are owned by the banks or whatever over here, and then you got the people over here who are like big tech's pocket or whatever. And that's what it's seeming like, like I said, they apparently all have their own little groups and whatnot based on their politics and stuff like that. I assume people with similar politics probably brush shoulders with similar donors and whatnot. So just pretty incredible to think that this is what's going on. Like your new congressman or congresswoman is going in, they're sitting down, and then you have Miss Jacobs here telling them, actually, you can't fit with us today because you're not part of our group. Like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's pretty cool. This was the same thing people were doing when we were all like 14 years old, by the way. So, if maybe we've ever grown out of that, maybe we've ever past the age of 14 mentally, we aren't really behaving that way anymore because, it's a public assigned area. You shouldn't really have situations like this popping up as grown adults. But like I said, most of these people are not fucking super geniuses, and I think that is the unfortunate misconception that we have as a society, is that, like, getting a job as important, supposedly, as going to Congress or being in the House of Representatives or whatever, having a job like that, you would think you'd have to be intelligent, you'd have to be someone of sound logic, you'd have to have, like, decent morals, maybe some sort of qualification, some sort of degree or field of study that you mastered, career or political experience that got you where you're at. But no, it's just probably, and honestly, a majority of people in all of this is just like this. Whatever it is, like in Congress or just even like government staffers in general, probably like 40 to 60% of the people who are like pretty much entirely running the country, they probably behave just like this. This is the exact same way that they all think. Because, I mean, as she described it, they all seem to participate in this like tribalistic, stupid clique bullshit. So if she's openly talking about this as if it's like normal or acceptable or cool or whatever, you can only imagine that all the rest of them are probably performing the exact same thing. But then when you have all of these people over here, like I said, more worried about where you get to sit down at lunch because, maybe somebody told you you're not going to sit at this assigned seat, or maybe you sit at this.
But he's only scored 4 goals. This is a big problem.
Right now, based on these Department of Justice,
I don't care if this is a D team. Should go to
questions / testifying based on what the Department of Justice sees in these investigations, what they're doing. And instead of it, it's really meaningful exchange. It's all of these people being funded by our taxpayer dollars to sit here with this conversation. Instead of anything positive coming from them where you can actually see what's going on, maybe get some new insight on what's going on, it pretty much has entirely devolved into like name calling and just like ridiculous shit where we're like pointing at just meaningless shit that has nothing to do with it. So this first clip here is basically somebody asks her a question on as to why, the federal government has basically not prosecuted or indicted any of
Oh my fucking Peppy! CP!
So they prosecuted any of them and bring them to justice. Right? And this is what Pam Bondi had to say about the entire thing.
I was a hell of a pass of Reno though.
It's over. It was $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're really stopped. I'm asking. It's over $50,000. S&P at almost 7. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. It's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans. We should be talking about what does it have to do with anything? That's what we just asked. Are you?
Mr. Jordan. And so she starts rambling on about how the Dow Jones is over 50,000, the NASDAQ is breaking records. Basically, the stock market is doing really, really good. So apparently, we shouldn't be worried about why the government isn't prosecuting pedophiles and elites who did horrific criminal shit. We should be worried about the fact that retirements and 401ks are up today. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I invest in the stock market. I'm pretty aware of what's going on, right? Is that really my main, realization in life is like, oh, well, if the Dow Jones is over 50,000, then everything is good. The world is great. Can't ask any questions about anything that's going on anymore now. The stock market's doing phenomenal. So, like, that's just a ridiculous way of thinking. And it's an obvious deflection from a very real question. Like, yeah, why aren't we doing something about this? Like, everyone knows something horrible took place. There is no doubt about that. Why isn't something being done? Well, the stock market's doing good. You should be focused on that. They literally think we're like toddlers, that you can dangle keys and shit in front of like little chimes and noises. You can go in front of our face and we'll just ignore what's going on. You know, we won't think about the elephant in the room that you've put behind the curtain or anything. We won't think about that, right? And this isn't even like a partisan issue. It's not like a, oh, well, it's one side or the other. Like, these people on both the Republican Democrat side, they're all fucking corrupt. They're all idiots. They're stupid people. They, you know, maybe they network with the right people. They got put in there by the voters, and they go in there to represent the lobbyists. They go in there to represent the corporate and the government arms of the country. They're not there to represent any of us. Like, on paper, yeah, that's what they're supposed to be doing, but we all know that's not what's happening. So I'm not even going to really delude myself into believing that anymore. And then you see video clips like this, and it's just like, okay, well, this is what they think you should be focused on. And then, like I said, you know, she's being questioned again from another angle, right, by, you know, people, like I said, lawmakers, this time about the investigations of Democrats by the Department of Justice. And this is what it revolves around. I mean, you you should get that in at least 35 seconds. We'll give you a few more seconds. I said that one was 25 seconds. Okay. So this is like an elected, or I guess elected official by the elected populace of America. Right? This is someone who's in office who's supposed to be representing the political interests of American society. Trump won the election in 2024 here in the United States. He became president. He nominates her for this job. So she's put there to represent the supposed voted interests of the people. And obviously, in my opinion, vote for this kind of stupid shit. Like, they didn't vote for screaming ourselves on the main stage asking us questions. Like, that's just fucking pathetic. Is this what we really want out of our elected officials? Is this what people really think is, like, best for our country? They're sitting here having, like, arguments and shit, calling each other, like, washed up, and just, like, stupid shit on Capitol Hill. This is the most powerful country on the planet, supposedly the most powerful country, richest country of all time. And this is what the government, the federal overseeing government of this country is currently doing, and what they're currently focused on. Instead of anything important that actually benefits anybody, that makes anything better for anyone, they're just busy screaming at each other on camera and then collecting a paycheck for doing it. It's fucking stupid. Like, they may as well be, there's like almost no distinction between this and like kick streamers getting in beef, or like Twitch stars arguing over Discord or something like that. The only difference is these are idiots that graduated high school in a suit and tie on Capitol Hill, while the people, you know, we like point out in other videos, like, oh, these people are dumb. They're just people who graduated high school and didn't go into politics. There's really almost no difference, it seems like. Most of these people just fucking scammed their way through somehow, and most of them are illegitimate and really shouldn't be fit for office. And if shit like this isn't enough to prove to people, like, dude, we have a really serious problem with the elected group in this country, and I just don't know what you can really get through to people, man. So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new on the channel, on Twitter and Twitch at SubTheOptimist. Make sure to check out Shoptimist down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimist subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimist, talking about the complete idiocy of our lawmakers, and signing out. Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about Battlefield 6, which is the game not only that you're seeing in the background of this video, but it's also a game that I have been pretty routinely playing for gameplay here on the channel. It is actually the first Battlefield game in years that I've actually put this much time into. I was pretty pleasantly surprised. I don't hate this game. I don't think that it's even an actually bad game. I know some people probably don't like it, or it's not their cup of tea, but for me personally, I mean, I've gotten my enjoyment out of the game so far. And I think that's where a lot of this comes from, is I'm actually a fan of the Battlefield franchise, and this has been a game that I have enjoyed. And I mean, I put it here as gameplay, and the reception for that has seemed pretty positive, right? And given how well Battlefield 6 did at launch, and definitely exceeded a lot of people's expectations, it's pretty depressing to see what is kind of becoming of this game now. So, in the last couple days, we have gotten an update from the guys behind Battlefield over at DICE and EA. And they announced the Season 2 update that was coming for Battlefield 6. From my understanding, Season 1, which is currently ongoing, was supposed to end on February 17th. And then that was when they were going to roll out the whole Season 2 thing. They put out a trailer for it, and, you know, it has, like, the new content or whatever that was announced, and it shows the, like, I guess, story that's technically tied behind everything going on in the game. Long story short, the announcement for this update, which only shows that in Season 2 there will be 2 maps coming to Battlefield 6, was pretty negatively received by a good majority of the community. I mean, DICE is getting blasted for this, it looks like, from pretty much everywhere. I mean, fans definitely are not happy to see this, and I've talked about Call of Duty, which is like the main competitor on the channel, and one of the big things that happened this year is obviously Call of Duty has kind of been in decline the last couple years, but Battlefield 6 came out and kind of disturbed the peace for Call of Duty. Battlefield 6 exceeded sales expectations, and even when you look at like the Steam charts specifically, just on that platform alone, Battlefield 6, their peak player base was higher than Call of Duty has reached at any point in time. So Battlefield 6, you know, compared to some of the older entries in the series, definitely did pretty well, and they had a really good foundation to kind of build off of with everything here. And unfortunately, with this Season 2 update, which was supposed to be one of these live service updates that is supposed to keep content coming to the game, I mean, it's just simply underwhelming, like the amount of content that is coming. And it really makes me think, like, I don't understand what these AAA developers, you know, these companies that have thousands of employees, hundreds of employees, right, that are capable of doing the things necessary to make these games. I don't understand why they can't this stuff, right? Like, it's pretty obvious that Battlefield has tried to go the live service route, and that's what these companies do nowadays, because that's what makes money, and that's how they think they're going to retain the most players.
Oh my!
At the same time, they
what a save!
fail to actually capitalize on the live service model. They don't do what is necessary to maintain said model. So the 2 new maps off-rip, we're going to get one called Contaminated. That is more of a, like, smaller, multiple pathway, flanking opportunity, high-action kind of map, which, honestly, Battlefield 6 already has a ton of these styles of maps, right? Like, map pool in Battlefield 6 is definitely much smaller than this new choice. And it was more Battlefield than the generic shooter kind of stuff. It's all in a certain way, right? So this is basically playing into that. And then the second map we don't even really know a ton of. It's going to be coming later in the season. It's more based on like the storytelling. Apparently it's going to take place at night. And with this, there's going to be a pair of limited time modes that come along with these map updates and stuff. And then we're updating the battle pass progression and stuff like that. So they're focusing on making the game a little bit more rewarding in that too. Which, cool. At the same time, there really isn't enough maps and shit like that in this game to keep this game going. Like, Season 1 has, think about that, this game has been out for months, right? Season 1 is finally coming to an end here. And then now Season 2 is probably going to be, what, 2 or 3 months long, and there's going to be 2 new maps on top of 8 maps that are already in the game. And I mean, let's be real. In my personal opinion, like I said, I like this game, but a couple of the maps in this game simply are not good, and I pretty much routinely just do not play them. So that already whittles down the map. And then now it's being done so even. 90s, Chelsea has started to reinvent themselves, even to attract teams and create a style
Baloney!
that match the Premier League's brand. Now, this, in my opinion, is the part of the story where everyone becomes a big old Chelsea game. Of course, there's teams where Chelsea
Baloney be scoring like that. Good. He really like the man was scoring, but
when people say this club has no history, I really do think
it's gonna carry our year, bro.
has never had a new
We needed that in the Liverpool game. Bro's a fucking ghost.
making them instant contenders overnight.
Oh, nah.
Anyone from Man City, Newcastle,
Here's the BS starts.
anything about Chelsea because those clubs just like
Oh,
the
man.
same thing happened to them.
Oh, Lord. We're doing good.
And changed the entire club's
He
trajectory.
didn't even do nothing. I thought was having a good game too, though.
In his first season, he poured millions in marquee signings like Joseph
Oh, my God.
Duff and Cole McAvoy. Claudio Ranieri led Chelsea to a strong second-place finish in the 2003-04 season. But Abramovich had bigger ambitions. In 2004, he hired Jose Mourinho, fresh off a Champions League win with Porto. Mourinho famously covered himself this special one and lived up to it. He transformed Chelsea into a disciplined, powerhouse club that clinched back-to-back Premier League titles in 2005.
The shout out to him, they're just like a little bad English.
This Chelsea squad set records with 95 points, with fewest goals.
Oh, yeah, Baloney. Oh, no.
86th match unbeaten.
I thought he was about to score again off the fucking corner.
Stamford Bridge became a fortress.
Damn, why Spurs pressing like that, bro? At the back? That? Oh, yeah. Get out of there. Come on, Sergio. Jesus Christ.
This set the stage for
Oh, nah. Oh, my God, he shanked it like in the World Cup. Fucking cool as shit, man. Nah, we're chilling. Could be easy 3 points. Yo. Come on, Robinson.
Famous for John Terry's slip during the decisive kick. In 2008, Chelsea hired
Pass in the middle. Oh, jeez.
fresh attacking style and led the team.
Oh, yeah, Sergio? Holy, what the...
Season, reinforcing that under Abramovich, Chelsea standards were non-negotiable.
Yeah, Adam?
Chelsea
Cross?
as the interim
Yeah, that's a little bad angle. One even low.
Chelsea's first Champions League trophy.
We had a good first half, though. If it wasn't for that pen, we'd be chilling.
Before edging immediately in the final. Dave Drogba scored a late equalizer in the decisive penalty, sealing his legacy at Chelsea and giving Abramovich his most promoted.
What the fuck was that pen?
Mateo's success was his tenure was brief. The following season saw Rafa Benitez as interim manager. And in Chelsea,
Okay.
another European triumph.
Tell me the whole in the back.
In 2013,
Yeah, Pulisic. Baloney. Baloney. Oh, man. I want Baloney to get a touch. He was hard. No way he should start. Watch it hit the fucking post. Damn, why is it taking a while, bro? I'm about to say, damn. Oh. Nah, Johnny's having a good game, bro. They tripping. He should have at least a 7. I want to make a 7, but I feel like we doing good, though. Oh, yeah, tiki-taka. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, tell me. All right, tell me. Tell me you have like 6 goals already, bro. You shanked like 5 easy goals already. Like, the season just started. You can already have 6 goals. But now you want to be fucking shooting that shit, all fucking dog shit. Please tell me, man.
And their approach to financial fair play.
Oh my, Raph.
Set that aside though, as it deserves its own detailed
Wow.
analysis. Instead, let's focus on the 2023-24 season, which was the most puzzling in terms of club decision making. So, the components deeply into the season
Oh yeah,
results
take it out.
sixth in the Premier League is it
Holy shit, bro.
given the circumstances. Before this season began, Chelsea appointed Mauricio Pochettino as manager, an excellent tactician and leader who's particularly skilled at developing young talent. This seemingly made him the perfect fit for Chelsea's progression. The club had spent more than all of the big five leagues combined on transfers, with most of that investment focused on young prospects who showed potential to become true superstars. What puzzles me is the outrage from some quarters suggesting Chelsea should have performed better given their spending. Let's break this down. You have a brand new manager known for developing young talent. The Premier League's biggest squad, and most players are new signings who've never played together before. When you consider all of these challenging factors, Chelsea's achievement in securing European football is remarkable. While Pochettino and Chelsea have agreed to part ways, it's hard to imagine how the club could have asked for more this season. In my opinion, their performance far exceeded what you'd expect from such a newly assembled club.
What
Whether
the
it's the
fuck?
revelation of Cole Palmer, a fever player, or Pochettino's tactical mastery, it's astounding to me that Chelsea would let this manager leave. Looking ahead, I believe the very factors that worked against Chelsea last season will become advantages this year.
Oh my god.
Their extensive transfer spending, but their improvement is already noticeable this season. These young
You're gonna pass it across that bar.
on the pitch, as reflected in their league position. I'm confident that in the coming years, these promising youngsters will develop
That's a
into
goal.
dominant force.
Ooh, what a block.
It's been incredible watching Chelsea each week, particularly Cole Palmer, who showed extraordinary talent with some of the best playmaking ability I've seen this year. While it's disappointing that Pochettino won't be there to complete what he started, the foundation he's built with this young group is undeniable. What's unfolding now is genuinely intriguing. This young squad that assembled at record cost is starting to show why they can scout this world. The emergence of talents like Cole Palmer isn't just about individual brilliance. It's about watching a new team find its identity. Yes, there have been stumbles, but that's inevitable when building something from the ground up.
What are we doing?
With no history of criticism feels hollow. Looking at the full picture. But perhaps what's most compelling isn't the past. It's watching how this next generation of talent develops. These young players are writing their own story.
I don't even know what we're doing. Okay. Oh no, we cooking.
Whether you like them or hate them, you can't deny.
Oh man.
As this latest chapter unfolds, one thing's certain: the Premier League is
Like since nobody wants the ball, like.
chasing their dreams. The future of English football is taking shape, and Chelsea's
Oh, what a tackle! Alright, bro. What was that? What the sportsmanship?
History of making the most incredible talent in-house through their legacy academy. While this has been critical to their success during their golden era from the early 2000s to around 2018, also made some significant transfer acquisitions over the years. Let's take a look at Barcelona's top 5 most expensive transfers and explore what happened. Frankie de Jong. Out of all of Barcelona's high-profile transfers, this may be their most successful. Frankie de Jong arrived at Barcelona in 2019 for 86 million euros. He came with a massive expectation after a standout season at Bournemouth. Initially, the
Man, that was a good pass, but was it though?
He was often deployed out of position, which limited his ability to control the tempo
Oh,
from his natural deep line midfield.
Raph.
Over time, de Jong has become increasingly integral
Mario.
to recent success, including their title center back, playing the Romero. You don't see it happen too often. DeYoung's adaptability and influence made him.
Man, we're just playing ping ball, bro. Going back and forth. Nah.
Neymar's move to Barcelona in 2013 for 88 million euros was one of the most
Yeah, good block.
football narrative. Brazilian superstar,
Yeah, what's that?
flashy style, dazzling dribbles, and
Nah, they gotta score, bro.
initially faced some challenges by Chelsea.
Why does it seem like they have more people on the field? That's offside as fuck. That's not offside. I don't know what is. Nah, that's offside. I swear to God, that's goal, bro. About to say, offside as hell. Yes, sir.
His performance in
What the fuck was that
as the
pass?
legendary Champions League comeback against PSG cemented his legacy at the club. Despite ultimately leaving Barcelona for a record-breaking transfer fee to PSG, Neymar's time
Like, we're not pressing at all.
remains one of the most
Even though we
electrifying
have pressing.
periods in history. I do think numerous women was at Barcelona. I still think he's super good. Antoine Griezmann. When Antoine Griezmann
Griezmann
joined
got
Barcelona
hurt?
in 2019 for 120 million euros, expectations were high. However, from the start, his journey at
Okay,
the
bro.
club was far from a smooth success. Griezmann faced immediate struggles adapting to Barcelona's tactical setup, which was vastly different from the system he had thrived in. Playing alongside Lionel Messi proved challenging, as Griezmann often found himself out of sync with the Argentine superstar. Over time, Griezmann's role was shuffled by multiple managers, but he never truly found his groove. His natural instincts clashed with Barcelona's tactical
Yeah,
demands.
cut it off, cut it off. Oh, yeah.
With his book scoring and playmaking failing to match the club's investment. By the end of
Oh,
the
yeah, my
second
boy
season,
Togi.
it was clear that the fit wasn't right, and Barcelona ultimately loaned Griezmann back to Atletico Madrid, effectively conceding that the move had not worked out as planned. Ousmane Dembele. Ousmane Dembele joined Barcelona in 2017 for 105 million euros plus and totaling 135 million. As one of the world's most promising young talents, tasked with helping to fill the void left by Neymar's departure. However, Dembele's time at the club was plagued by a series of setbacks, primarily due to persistent injury struggles and inconsistency. Immediately after joining, Dembele suffered a serious hamstring injury that sidelined him for several months. This would become a recurring theme throughout his time at Barcelona, with frequent injuries and lengthy layoffs preventing him from gaining rhythm and fully integrating into the team's tactical structure. Even when fit, Dembele faced challenges adapting to Barcelona's disciplined style of play, which demanded more precise
Beautiful
decision-making
back.
and quick link-up
Holy.
play. He was a constant. Despite flashes of brilliance, his inconsistency and
Then hella
inability to
fucking
stay
free kicks,
healthy
bro.
ultimately hindered his progress at the club, and eventually left for PSG.
I'm trying to get Bologna his third goal. That's why I kept him out there. Nah, see you, my boy. Oh, nah. Holy shit. What is that, like 3 easy bitch chances for you?
Initially showed promise, but it quickly became clear that he struggled with big improvements for the season. The club improved everything. He found it difficult to influence games in the same
Yeah, W
way
time
he
waste.
had.
Just,
Here, he
yo. He got hit. Nah. Ooh. Hey. I'm sure who got hurt though.
During his time at the club, the likes of Coutinho, Griezmann, and Dembele struggled to consistently advance and deliver on the high expectations that came with their contracts. Even Frankie de Jong, who's been a valuable player for us,
Johnny, what was
to
that?
find his home within the club. These transfers highlight the challenge Barcelona has faced in balancing high-profile investments with good each player. The player that even known as time needs a winning environment to truly could you imagine playing on the pitch as a 6-year-old one day and having all of your friends keep playing this strike on that same pitch the very next day? This was a reality for Jacko, who had been so helpful during the Bulls era. His mother, feared for his safety. This is where she once even refused to let him out, and her decision spared him from a bomb that destroyed the field he would have been playing on. The path to stardom for many footballers often begins on well-maintained fields, kicking a pristine ball from dawn to dusk. Scouts notice their talent, and soon they're on the fast track to elite academies and the big leagues. But for Eddie Dzeko, his journey started in an entirely different field. Growing up in Sarajevo during the Bosnian War, Dzeko's training ground was a war-torn cityscape scarred by relentless attacks. The pitch was generally a patch of uneven ground with barely a blade of grass, and the ball was often nothing more than big scraps. Amidst the chaos, Dzeko clung to his love for the game, using football as an escape from the
We got
horrors of war.
Brighton next at home.
For him,
That
football
shit
wasn't
better be
about
free.
fame or fortune. It was means of survival, a defiance of the dark reality around him. The war was devastating. Sarajevo endured nearly 4 years of siege, and his family lived in the heart of it, moving between shelters and surviving on minimal food, while their home and thousands of others were destroyed. Like all other hardships, it finally passed. And as Yugoslavia's political landscape crumbled, Bosnia's love for football endured. Dzeko began his career with FK Zaljesnikar Sarajevo, Bosnia's most successful club. But his
Back
career
to the
didn't take off
stretch.
immediately. At first, fans labeled him Clock, meaning mocking his tall,
Sorry for
awkward
losing
playing
something.
style and lack of technical flair. He played as a midfielder, but his lanky frame and unrefined skills kept him on the margins of the squad. Yet, a coach named Yuri Blizek saw a gift in the young midfielder. Dzeko later moved to FK Teplice in the Czech Republic for a modest 25,000 euros, an investment that soon seemed like a jackpot as he blossomed. This step was monumental. For a modest fee, he left his hometown and his role as a midfielder behind, finding success as a striker. His scoring ability shone in the Czech Republic, where he honed his instinct for goal. Wolfsburg's manager, Felix Magath, noticed his potential and signed him for €4 million, which catapulted him onto the European stage. When Edin Dzeko joined Wolfsburg in 2007, he was already showing flashes of potential. Within his first 11 Bundesliga games, he scored 5 goals and recorded 3 assists, earning him the title of the league's best striker in the first half of the season. Wolfsburg, riding on his efforts, finished fifth in the league, securing a UEFA Cup spot for the following season, a remarkable achievement. Dzeko ended his debut season with 8 goals and 7 assists across 17 starts, but this was only the beginning. With the arrival of fellow Bosnian Misimovic in the 2008-2009 season, took Dzeko's performance to the next level. Misimovic's creativity in the midfield unleashed Dzeko's full potential. By the mid-season break, Dzeko had 5 goals and 7 assists, and after the break, he went on an absolute tear, scoring 21 goals in the remaining matches. Wolfsburg's incredible 10-match winning
Whose stadium is that? That's ours? Oh, I would play in the night. I think I played in the game. Oh, yeah, how we not playing.
instead, making him the second highest scorer in the Bundesliga, only trailing his teammate Rafinha. Together with Misimovic, they formed the infamous Magic Triangle, setting records and making history. Misimovic broke the Bundesliga assist record with 20, beating a seemingly unstoppable striker, and took Wolfsburg to the top. Wolfsburg's most significant game that season came against Bayern Munich, a 5-4 crashing that saw Dzeko and Rafinha each scoring twice. Wolfsburg climbed to the top of the table on that day and held on to first place to win their first ever Bundesliga title, finishing 2 points clear of Bayern. Dzeko's scoring prowess wasn't limited to the Bundesliga. He added 6 goals in the DFB Pokal and contributed 4 goals and 2 assists in the UEFA Cup. At season's end, he was named Bundesliga Players Footballer of the Year. Though heavily courted by AC Milan, Dzeko chose loyalty, signing a contract extension with Wolfsburg until 2013. The following season, Dzeko proved his mettle on the European stage.
Oh, what a save!
In the UEFA Champions. His achievements earned him a nomination for the 2009 Ballon d'Or, marking him as one of the world's
That shit was on target, dude.
Bacon's consistency and dominance in front of goal. That was 2010. Dzeko had surpassed Diego Cromwell's to become Wolfsburg's all-time leading scorer with 59 goals in just 96
my god,
games.
Selby finally fucking scored after like 20 attempts. Let's go.
They had 10 goals in 17 games in the winter break. His reputation as a relentless goal machine was now undeniable. Dzeko's move to Manchester City in January 2011 was a highlight outbreak, with manager Roberto Mancini confirming the deal at a fee of £27 million, making it 6 second-round transfer fee after Robinho signed. This was not only a major transfer for City, but also broke records in the Bundesliga and set a new high for Mancini and former Yugoslavia. After completing his medical and officially joining the club on 4 and Dzeko quickly began making an impact on the pitch. In his
Offside?
Dzeko set up Yaya's
Oh my god, it wouldn't even matter.
victory over him. He then made his mark in the FA Cup, scoring a critical equalizer against Notts County and ending another in the replay. European play for all goals, with Dzeko netting twice against Arizona and in April he scored his first Premier League goal with a decisive strike against Blackburn Rovers, sealing a 1-0 victory. Dzeko's contributions helped City secure 3rd place and a Champions League qualification spot. Starting his second season with a bang, Dzeko scored in the Community Shield against Manchester United, and shortly after, added 4 goals in a single Premier League match against Tottenham, with the American player of the year. Key goals continued to late the season, including against Wigan to maintain City's lead over Manchester United and another in the Europa League against Fulham. As the season closed, Dzeko's most unforgettable moment came on the last day against Peterborough Rangers, where he scored a dramatic equalizer in stoppage time, setting the stage for Sergio Aguero's legendary winner to secure City's first league title in 44 years. Dzeko started the season leading City Champions League campaign with a goal against Real Madrid and adding several minutes winning goals in the match. His knack for laying their goals earned him the nickname Superstar, highlighted by goals against Fulham, West Brom, and Tottenham that secured vital wins. He didn't love the nickname Superstar, though. He closed the 2012-13 season with 15 goals, cementing his role as a key striker. In the 2013-14 season, Dzeko promoted new manager Manuel Pellegrini, scoring his 50th English League goal and notching 2 in a crucial Manchester Derby win over United. His season was full of important moments, like his brace in a 3-2 win over Everton, and 2 goals against Aston Villa that sent City on course for another Premier League title. His efforts helped propel City to the top, and his consistent form played a critical role in City's title triumph. Following this success, Dzeko signed a new 4-year contract with City in August of 2014. He opened the 2014-15 season by assisting David Silva's goal and continued with 2 goals against Sheffield Wednesday in the League Cup, followed by another brace in a league win over Hull City. Dzeko's time at City was filled with thrilling moments, cementing his status as one of the Premier League's impactful forwards. As impactful as he was, though, He was seemingly never appreciated during his time, always playing second fiddle. In August of 2015, Dzeko moved from Manchester City to AS Roma, initially on a €4 million
Oh, oh,
which became mandatory in October after Dzeko met certain performance conditions. He scored his first goal for Roma.
I thought they were paid when they created the. It's outside too. Let's go. Boy, Tillman cooked his game.
His goal-scoring form continued to break records as he became the first Roma player to reach 33 goals in a season across all competitions. The 2017-18 season, Dzeko continued his impressive performance, opening with 6 goals in 5 league matches and a noticeable brace against Chelsea in a 3-3 Champions League draw. He was crucial in Roma's Champions League campaign, scoring the decisive goal against Shakhtar Donetsk to advance Roma to the quarterfinals, and then scoring in both legs against Barcelona, helping Roma reach the semi-finals for the first time in over 30 years. He finished the season as Roma's top scorer with 24 goals, including 16 in Serie A and 8 in the Champions League. Dzeko began the 2018-19 season by scoring a last-minute winner against Torino, and followed it up with a Champions League hat-trick against Victoria Plzen, becoming the first Bosnian player to achieve this feat in Europe's top competition. In the 2019-20 season, he extended his contract with Roma until 2022 and continued his contributions despite an injury setback from a fractured cheekbone in October, which required surgery and led him to play with a protective vest. And you know what happened when a player needs that vest. He reached his 200th appearance for Roma in December 2019 and finished the season as a key figure in the squad. In 2021, Dzeko joined Inter Milan, where he quickly scored in a 4-0 victory over Genoa. In the Champions League semifinals, he scored a memorable volley against AC Milan,